Brandon Carlisle here with Tough Enough Movement, and today I'm just going to shoot a quick little mini episode with an interaction I had with my 12-year-old daughter the other night. Um, she's kind of been having a little bit of attitude. It's a nice way to put it, but a lot of it was related to school and talking about school and stuff like that. She'd always have negative things to say, and she seemed to not be getting along great with some people. And so the other day she came home from school and I could tell she was a little extra frustrated that day, and we had dinner and everything like that. And then when it was time for bed, I went upstairs and was telling her good night and tucking her in. She kind of broke down and started crying, and I'm like, Riley, what's going on? What's the matter? Like, I can tell something's been off lately. And she's just like, I don't know, Dad. And she started kind of venting about frustrations with kids at school and some of the situations and everything like that. And she was just telling me how she's like, sometimes I get so angry that I feel like I want to punch something. And I sat there for a minute and I was like, I get that, Riley. And then I didn't say it in my head. I'm like, it makes sense you'd have issues like that due to the fact I'm your father. And so I just thought for a second of how to handle the situation. And the first thing that came to mind was the old saying of the one you feed. And so I told her that story. I said, Riley, have you ever heard the story of the two wolves inside? She's like, no, I haven't. And I was like, okay, well, a grandfather is sitting down with his grandson and he tells him, grandson, each man has two wolves inside and they're fighting a battle. One wolf is an evil wolf, and that wolf consists of greed, anger, frustration, envy, and all these negative emotions and feelings. And there's a good wolf that's caring and kindness and friendship and devotion and love and many other good qualities. And they're always going to be fighting a battle inside you. And the grandson looks at his grandpa and says, which one wins, Grandpa? The grandson or grandpa looks at him and goes, the one you feed. And I'm like, right, do you get the purpose of this parable? I'd said story, but uh, she's like, kind of. And I'm like, well, basically, what it means is that these feelings that you have and these thoughts that you have about yourself and other people, the more you lean to that bad wolf, the more frustration and angry you're going to be, and the more upset and hard it is to deal with things. The more you lean to that good wolf, the better you're going to feel, and the better people are going to feel around you. And she got quiet and thought about it for a minute. I'm like, one thing that I like to do is when situations come up that I feel these feelings, these frustrations, or these anger or anxiety, is I like to detach. And I explained, I'm like, detach is just to kind of step back and take a look at this thing, okay? And whatever's happening, I need you to put that whatever's going on in two categories: the thing you can control and the thing you can't control, okay? And if you can control it, then you can validate your frustration and everything like that, and then you need to look for a solution. And on the other hand, if you cannot control it, then you can't let it control your emotions, because there's nothing you can do about that, right? So the things you can't control, you got to let go. And so when you figure that out and you're able to do that, you're able to control these emotions a lot better. And so I'm like, does this make sense to you? I feel like you've been having some issues for a minute where you're getting frustrated with kids at school and the way they act and everything like that. And these emotions are coming home with you. And I just feel like we should be able to work on those and control them a little better by thinking about these things. And I want you to feed the good wolf, because for a lot of years, I personally fed that bad wolf and I watched what it did to me. And I watched how it controlled my emotions like that. And it made me more of an angry, upset, and envious person. And that is not the person you want to be. And that's not the person that you are. You're a sweet, caring person. And if you keep letting that bad wolf win the battle, it'll devour you and you'll lean towards that. So, can you focus on feeding that good wolf for me? And she took some deep breaths and she's like, yeah. And she's like, that makes sense. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, do you have any questions? And she was like, no, I think I'm good. And I've noticed a big change from her since that. And I think that a lot of people could just dig more into that and think about it in situations and use it more. Because, like I said, with me, it's made a huge difference. And there's a podcast I listen to called The One You Feed that actually talks a lot about that. They start with a parable and everybody talks about how they relate to it and everything like that. And it was a really good thing for me. And so I just wanted to come on and share that and tell everybody that, well, post it on everything and keep up with the episodes and let me know what you think. And thanks for coming in.